But I don't know how. You know, I'm gonna talk to him and see if maybe he can do 750 for 2 days. But the thing is him and Wayne butt heads because basically he tells the track when to prep, when to scrape, like when to. So do you think Wayne's gonna? I mean, the track was good when we were there. Wayne's not gonna let him do that.
No, and if you're calling in someone else to prep, that's gonna bend Wayne's nose out of joint.
It is.
Well, and also too, if it's not good, like there's nobody,
Are you looking for comprehensive solutions for your performance and automotive needs? Straight Line Performance and Automotive is a full-service auto repair shop specializing in race car fabrication, electrical design, chassis setup and alignment. Located in Hamden, Connecticut, they also specialize in aftermarket high performance and chassis upgrades. Be sure to look them up on Facebook at www.facebook.com/straightline STR8LINE Performance &Automotive, or give them a call at 203-415-5316. Welcome, racers and fans, to the Racers News Network Live, presented by Straight Line Performance and Automotive and Scottie Wheelz Racing. Your hosts, Chris and Pete, bring you the latest news and interviews in the world of sportsman drag racing, including bracket racing, association races, outlaw, and no-time events. We are live every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Take it away, boys.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Racers News Network Live. We're going to be talking with Scottie Wheelz and Ralph Miola in just a few minutes, talk about their race a couple weeks ago at Lebanon Valley. But let's go around. They're going to have the results a little later on. We believe Geron's going to be joining us. We're not 100% sure yet, but that's okay. To my left, of course, Pete Sanka. How are you, Pete?
Very good. How you doing, guys?
All right. My bottom left, Scottie Wheelz, also known as Scottie McDonald.
Hi, guys. Good evening.
And directly below the star of Hollywood Squares, Ralph Miola. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your last name correctly, Ralph, because
it was perfect.
I am awesome at butchering last names.
Yeah, you are.
One of my special skills.
You won on that one. Hey, thank you. Nice to be here.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So like I said, you guys had a race September 11th at Lebanon Valley, a no time, no prep event. So let's get right into it. How'd it go?
It went pretty amazing. Actually, it was the 10th and the 11th. It was a 2-day event. We on Friday night, Chris, Ralph, we had how many?
70, 73, 70,
yeah, 73 or 74.
Yeah.
Testing on Friday night. The track got a little dewy, right, Ralph?
Yeah, no, I was on a pass and I was started drifting to the middle lane. I'm like, no. Yes, damn. But and then I decided it wasn't time to do another pass after that.
So we decided that going into next year, we're gonna have the rentals gonna run instead of 5 to 10, we're gonna do 3 to 8.
I mean, that would be, hopefully Wayne's on the same page.
Hopefully Wayne's on the same page, right.
That'll also let us start the vodka party a little earlier.
So that was Friday night. It was great to see all the toter homes and all the RVs pulling in. Pete was there because, as you know, Pete worked and was in charge of the lanes and chip draw. And basically,
I didn't do anything on Friday night except for get your wife a glass of wine. That's all I did.
Oh, yeah, when I couldn't find her, she was over with your wife drinking. Yeah,
that's
right.
Well,
I mean, if you find your way in his camper, you're not going to find your way out. Especially.
That's the only way we could keep our wives. We just keep them drunk.
Got to keep them drinking. So then we had the vodka party Friday night at Ralph's. I ended up going to bed around midnight. They were up till about 2 a.m.
It was too much, but it was great.
We had Ralph went up. Well, tell him you set up all the signs and everything on Thursday and Friday.
Well, yeah, I went up Thursday just because I was going to also be racing on Friday, trying to test out my truck, which I literally dumped the motor in Tuesday and got it running Wednesday, put it in the box Thursday, and voila, we were there. So I also, piddle around and I set up the big 60-foot send it wall that everybody seems to like, and it really lights up photos and helps brand our event really well. It's amazing because I'm a graphic designer by trade. I don't do it as much anymore, but for this, I kind of pulled that hat out, and it seems to just, people get excited, when they see a well-branded, well-planned event. It seems like you're doing something, and I think that's been a little bit of our success as well, is really putting a name on what we do, clean rules, and just keep trying to make it better every single time.
Right.
And as you guys know, I've done a lot of racing up in Lebanon Valley. And I've also gone to a lot of big events up there. And I don't ever recall seeing an event branded as far as signage and all the stuff as your events. And I noticed that last year too, just from seeing pictures. Yeah, I mean, the banners are killer. Even driving in when you go around the dirt track and you enter, and there's a sign on the booth where you pay. I mean, it was cool. It was.
I wanted to like say, okay, well, if Scottie and I rented the place, we're gonna own it like all the way through.
Sure. Yeah,
and
without a doubt.
Lebanon, they're great that way. They've really embraced us, and they love the quality of the event, the kind of cars we get, and they're really helping put oxygen into this event and helping it grow. So as cranky as Wayne could be, I like him.
He's our crankpot. He's cranky, but we love our crankpot.
Yeah, he's our crankpot. I mean, anything we've really wanted has not been a problem. So that's my experience.
My only issue with the banners that you guys have is because I like you, I feel guilty stealing them. But I get over it, but I still feel guilty.
Well, we made ones that you could steal from the merch stand this time. So
yeah.
Okay, there you go.
But what we're going to start doing is we're getting a lot of repeat sponsors. So we're going to get individual like 3x5 banners to hang on like the fence along the staging lanes.
Right.
Things like that, like you'd see at an NHRA event. So everybody has their own sign. I thought the one that Ralph did that was where the tree is, that said no time, no rules on where the tree is. And nobody hit the tree this time, which was great. You know what I mean?
It's too bad because that would have been a well-branded crash.
People have been hitting the tree at Lebanon Valley a lot lately, but we didn't have.
They got a couple this year. Yeah, it's been rough.
And that Corvette that caught on fire. I mean, it was just. So I thought that the branding is, it's funny because Ralph has got this. He sees outside the box. And I'm like the numbers guy. I'm straight to the deadline. You know what I mean? I don't see outside the box. I see this is how much we're spending. This is how much we're going to pay for, So we kind of balance each other out very well, I think, in that aspect. And then Ralph, when the banners were up, I was like, they might have cost us $1,000, but you know what? It was killer. Like it was so worth it.
Well, for a little bit of money, you could feel like you're going somewhere. Like it's our own yellow bullet. You know what I mean?
Right. Ralph's the kind of guy that'll take half of the money that Scott has and say, let's put it on black.
Yeah.
Not totally, but we're really, we're trying to do this thing right. We're trying to do it so we're going to be around for a while. If we just wanted to make a quick hit, you don't do anything. You just go there and, you turn your head.
That's like the first time we did this 2 years ago. They called us and said, hey, can you get we had a cancellation. Can you get a small and big tire classes together for next weekend? It was a week. And we ended up getting like 40 cars to show up to just run.
Right.
So, and that was with nothing, no branding, no anything,
And when we hear like input, the guys are really like, it's their event, hey, we should do this next time. And I like the atmosphere is more of a gentleman's race.
Right.
And let the cars talk, and it's not a lot of BS, and there is BS, but it's for the most part, it's you couldn't not be intimidated in that big tire staging lane.
I got to tell you that the small tire was no joke.
I didn't see it. I wish I did. Yeah.
And if you paid attention to the 650 crowd,
yes.
The people that run in 650 and the people that travel, there wasn't a class that if someone said you could have a car of your choice, get it whatever class you want, there wasn't an easy one to pick from. I'll tell you that.
There was no ducks in that pond.
No, God, you got that right.
And the thing
there would have been one if I got in, but other than that, no, it was tough.
Well, the thing that Ralph and I loved, and Pete, we talked about this, is we had Lake George that weekend.
Right.
We had Yellow Bullet the weekend before. And also Esta was running a 10,000, 10,000, 650 and 550 race.
Yeah.
New York. And we still got almost full fields in every single class except for heavy. We still had 24 650 cars.
Yep.
I know. And that to me is I want to really build that even bigger and bigger, because that's like one of the most exciting
I
classes.
follow, obviously I converse a lot with Rob Keister, who we all know does the mid-Atlantic .90 stuff. And if you were to ask him what his biggest challenge is, I guarantee you the top of a very short list would be planning events without stepping on other events.
Yeah.
I mean, with COVID and all this stuff, and, this was probably the first year that I still don't even know if it was full, all tracks wide open, everything back to normal. I think there was still some dancing around. I mean, even this year, perfect example is they had 2 Yellow Bullets because they didn't have any the year before because of COVID. So even with that, you're still feeling the effects, and it's just tough to plan an event where, all right, we're the only ones doing something this weekend, and there is no other big race at Cecil or Epping or wherever. It's tough.
Well, I mean, Lake George is a 800-pound gorilla that you can't.
Right.
It's a destination for people, not just a car show.
Sure.
And and people bring their families there and stuff. That's a big one. If it's like Yellow Bullet or us, obviously we're not Yellow Bullet, but
Right.
the convenience and the cost is way less. So it's like, hey, if you want to have that kind of atmosphere, be a little bit, it's like a small school versus a big college.
Sure.
It's like,
Yeah.
you could come here and be somebody with us, because our fields are probably never big more than 120 cars, maybe, but that would be probably our goal for a couple events.
Yep. So with all that being said, you guys had a good night on Friday.
Yep.
Drank a little bit of vodka, which is always good.
Yep.
And we moved on to Saturday. I could tell you personally that the weather, you would have had a tough time dialing in a better weather day. It was fantastic.
It was
Absolutely.
unbelievable.
Sun was shining, track was on point. Racers were ready to race, and you had real good fields in big, small, and 650. Scott, I believe, I want to say small tire was 20, big tire was 19, and 650 was 24.
Something like that. I think small
Am I
tire
right in
might have
saying
been
that?
20.
What did you have in heavy?
I think 10 showed up, 10 tech cards, or 8, but 8 people raced.
Yep.
Eight sounds familiar.
And small tire, I think there were 20, maybe 22 tech cards and 20 raced or something like that.
Right. So I mean, you're bumping on an 80 car count.
100%. Yep.
That's not too shabby. And considering that I personally know of at least 5 650 cars that weren't there because of either the show that was going on at Empire or Lake George.
Yep.
And that's just what I know. So I guarantee you that 80 car count could have been 100 without too much effort if there wasn't other stuff going on.
It was 97 in the spring.
Okay.
So we were down 17 cars this
Yeah. Yep.
And a lot of those 650, like Grant raced in the race, but his kids were up in Empire.
That's correct. Yes.
He would have been there too, but his car made the poster, so he had to
So he had to represent.
He had to come and win.
He did well.
He had to come win.
Yeah.
He had to
So
come
Scottie,
win real quick.
give us some results of all your classes that you had.
So big tire was Chris from Big Power Racing. He won big tire. Second place, I'm doing this off memory. Second place was Joe Waskowitz,
Yes.
JW Joe's father in the 69 Camaro. We're so happy. I mean, I'm happy for Chris who won. That's a long story. He only won because Ralph let him. But
I'll leave that on you.
we'll leave that
Yeah, I
alone.
know that story too.
We'll leave that alone. But And Joe Waskowitz, he finally started getting some clean hits on his Camaro, on his turbo car. And he was consistent all day. We had, you had Carmen Diamini, Red Alert was there, who was flying. He ended up, his trans brake broke.
Somebody beat him in the qualifier.
Yeah, so his trans brake broke. And then
something had to break because
Blake, Blake, who had the Punisher Trans Am, he had a front shock blowout. Lost a strut. So I mean, when you're going this fast at these events, if you're within a tenth or two, you do have a chance because these things break when you're going that fast.
Yep.
So that was big tire.
So that was big tire. Small tire. My buddy Derek Moda, he won.
He's badass.
His car is just badass.
You also backed that up at Epping this weekend, right?
He did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, so he beat Chris Selva in the final, and then he beat us, Ed's car, my customer's car. He beat us in the semis. So Derek's got the car going really well. I'm really happy for him. He was always a nitrous guy, and then really turned the car around and built this new motor, and went through Jamie. Jamie tunes it. It's Fuel Tech car. I mean, the car really, really runs well. 650 was won by Paul Albino from Total Inductions. With
Nope. Heavy.
I mean, heavy. What did I say?
650.
Oh, sorry. Heavy.
That's right.
So he won with his beautiful Lightning. The car was just consistent all day. That thing is just badass.
And for those that don't know, heavy is a new category for this race, correct?
Correct. Yep.
This
It's
is
going to
the
be
first time you
in
ran
now
it,
for good. But yeah, 3,800 pounds.
Yep. And the car or truck or whatever you race has to be 3,800 pounds, and you have to run it over the scales after the run to confirm that you won. Even I believe you guys make the person who lost the round go over also in case the winner comes up.
If the winner comes up light, then the
So
loser.
no matter what, you're running over the scales, and you got to come in at 38.00 or heavier.
And that's with driver, if people ask. A lot of people ask,
And
is
then
that
you
with
got-
driver?
Right.
Right.
And who was the runner-up for heavy?
I don't know his name actually. It's he had the maroon like Nova, the nitrous car.
Yes. Yep.
Um,
So the runner-up was the guy that Paul Albino beat. So that's
good. Yeah. But it was not like we had like Wayne Silva, who's one of the big who's a sponsor.
Right.
He has that Ranchero, like he was there in heavy. My buddy George Benson with that beautiful white CTSV.
Yep.
That thing was crazy. He was in heavy is a great class because you get a lot of these newer cars, like these newer Mustangs. There was a not a Challenger, but a like the race car one.
Yeah, Charger. Like a
Hellcat.
Hellcat, like a Hellcat or a Demon. No, it's a Demon.
Demon, yep.
I like that was running in that class. I mean, it was great to see like a lot of newer Mustangs, like newer cars running that class. That was awesome.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that class grow because that was a pretty cool class.
That's a cool class. And then you have our buddy Grant Nichols.
What more could you say about?
I have nothing else to say.
Car that he drives.
He's a beast, no matter what he's driving. It's crazy.
He could dial in a shopping cart.
Oh my God.
No, he can't.
Yeah, in a mud puddle, even though in a mud puddle.
I could tell you firsthand that his wife absolutely hates that crown that he won, and I'm guessing that's probably because he wore it for a week straight, including in the shower. If I had to guess.
He probably sent self-tappers into his skull.
I wouldn't doubt it. Did you have a brain operation? No, I just got this crown on and we're leaving it right here.
Well, Pete, you know as well as I do, Grant's won every form of big check or trophy or, but a crown has got to be unusual for his 30-plus year career.
Well, I will tell you that just watching the reaction, like even I don't know the other drivers, so I don't know how much they've won or whatever. But I've seen Grant win a lot of stuff. And for him to look at that and say, man, this is cool, and and put it on and be totally into it. When you've won a boatload of stuff,
Right.
and you win something and you like it and you comment about it, that's again, it's a testament to what you guys are doing. Because it's, you're bringing a little flair to something that could get a little boring at times,
And he wins, so you hand the guy a couple grand. You know what I mean?
That too, yeah, that doesn't hurt.
I mean, it doesn't hurt,
Yeah, without a doubt.
He's my drinking buddy too up there, so that doesn't.
He's a good dude. Yeah,
him and George McQuiggan, which George wasn't there because he was at Lake George, so
right, and that's one of the cars that I was talking about. Yep.
Yeah. So there's
So guys, what do you have for plans for next year?
So
you, Pete.
Well, you're part of it, Pete. So, Chris, we want you to know about Pete. We never had as many compliments as we did at this race for how smooth this race went.
Absolutely.
Anybody's ever talking about is how smooth it went. We had a driver's meeting at 9:30 behind the tower, which everybody showed up. We did the chip draws in the lanes. Pete took care of the chip draws. We had the cars pulling in at an angle, which was pretty badass to see all the cars there lined up, I think.
That was a game changer for me, man. I mean, that was like, I had shivers seeing all those cars staggered, all these hitters with turbos and nitrous and pro chargers. And I'm like, holy crap, what did we do?
And I got to tell you, part of the cool concept with that was you had some people that have been on TV.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to walk up and down the staging lanes of Lebanon Valley and looking at someone and being like,
I saw him on Street Outlaws.
Yeah, I saw him, he was in Cash Days or so, and I will tell you that I knew of two people. Was it Pete the Greek?
Yep.
And the Punisher guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
With the Firebird. And I will tell you that talking to them, they talk to me, which, they don't know me from a hole in the wall. And they talk to me like we all talk to each other, just like, not cocky, no attitude, no, I'm better than you. They were just, hey, thanks for putting on the race and we're happy to be here. It's very cool.
Well, it takes some of the stuff you see on TV, it kind of gets rid of that panache or whatever and puts them down to they're just drag racers.
Yes. Yep. They're just happy to see a good run event for a decent buck and a fair shot with good track prep, and they're there.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, not like they're, The Rock, but when it comes to racing, they can pretty much do whatever the hell they want to do.
Right.
They could get paid to be, to show their faces in places, and they were just there to run for a cool crown and a couple of bucks, and they had a good time.
I think Ralph and I are pretty fortunate that we have a good relationship with a lot of these guys.
Right.
So people like Red Alert and stuff want to support our event.
Yep.
If we were douchebags, I mean, I might be to some people. Who knows?
Some.
To some. But for the most part, Ralph and I have a good reputation of, we just want to have a good, fun race. We bring a lot of attention to it. We have good sponsors. We have good payouts. You know what I mean? And we want to give them a good surface to run it. And I think that surface on Saturday was pretty damn good.
Yeah, I agree. I had a lot of people coming up to me saying that they were very impressed with how the event was flowing, how good the track was, very happy with Lebanon's, management and workers and, Gina up at the top of the lanes, getting the people in the water box. It was a really, I'm looking forward to turning up the wick on this and getting 120 cars. I'm excited. I told you guys last year after the second race that you guys really made me proud with how it was run and your turnout and all that stuff. And super happy to have been able to help you guys out this year. And I'm looking forward to keeping it going because it was a lot of fun.
Well, Pete, like Scottie and I have learned over and over again, we have good ideas, but that doesn't mean we can execute them great. But when we bring somebody like yourself in there
It
And
helps.
you fill a role that we just needed. So
We need it bad.
You know.
Well, I got to tell you, a lot of the ideas were yours. I thought that we were still going to do the chip draw at the gazebo.
Yeah, Ralph and I talked about this after the last race. We're like, let's get in the lanes.
And that was great. I'm a little nervous about, if you get 30 or 40 cars in one class, because you guys saw how 20 filled up the lanes. We'll have to get a little tighter with how they park and stuff like that. But that was
and Pete, God bless us if that's our problem.
Yeah, right. There's definitely worse problems to have.
We'll squeeze them right in there.
Without a doubt. But
I have a question for all three of you.
Go ahead.
In the day and the time that we live in, do you find it easier to promote an event now than, say, even though you didn't do it 10 years ago? Is there any reason why you can't blast the ever-living crap out of Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever, and get good competitors and a decent amount of butts in the seats?
So Ralph, you want to go first?
You go ahead, Scott.
So in we had this event, there was close to, between spectator and crew, there was like 1,300. We had more fans at this one than we actually had at the one in May. More fans. We didn't have as many cars, but we had more fans. So Ralph and I have been talking about, right, Ralph? We've been pushing fans, right? We've been pushing this.
I mean, whatever when the wind blows, we buy merch and all of a sudden we want to like put things out to the fans. We buy, where car count's low, we're trying to push cars. I mean, it's kind of, we kind of react to the way the wind is blowing. I mean, we do try. I mean, Scott and I are so green at this. We probably have an event that's got the expectations of our 10th event, and it's only our 4th. So we're playing catch up to what people want from us. And, and we're not that mature in an event. And when I say that, I'm just saying because we're still learning how to really draw crowds to the event, get racers' attention, compete with other events.
Right.
And what works. And at the end of the day is just for us is the guys who are there are so like insanely loyal. And I hate to say that because, I'm calling it out, but they really like the event. And we're working on like a gentleman's event. Like this is really like, you want to come and see what your car will do in an environment where the car will talk and not flips from everywhere. That's kind of the reputation I would like to develop this to be.
Like when I talk, so last Wednesday night, I was talking to Howard. He pulled up in his truck and I was there to tune on a customer's car. And Chris, the first thing he said to me was like, Dover was a huge event, right? It made the track a ton of money, the Dover weekend. But the Dover weekend doesn't have fans. Like we have people that come to ours that are just fans that want to watch. Dover has 400 cars, but there's no like people that are just showing up to watch.
I would say there is, but it's,
he's just saying not like our event where it's a different type of drag racing.
Right.
You guys probably have close to the same amount of fans that come through the gate, but considering Dover has 400 cars and you got 80.
That's what I'm saying. Right.
Percentage wise, yours is through the roof as far as what you're attracting for what's there.
Right.
So we're just trying to push as much on social media as we can. Like Ralph and I have like, we're making it an official, like an actual LLC. Our brand of our racing, website, whole 9 yards. We're going to try to grow it and still do what we do. But like, I've got Oxford Dragway up in Maine. We've talked about that, Chris, up in Maine.
Yep.
They want us to do an event up there. So I've been working with the guy who owns that now, was at the event this weekend. He's like, dude, I want you and Ralph to do an event up here. So we're going to dabble into there maybe a little bit. We've talked a little bit, try to get policy. Yeah, that's less. Yeah, less. Yep.
See if we can franchise the event,
to even get an event down in Cecil County, because I know a lot of grudge guys and stuff down what they call the DMV, which is like Delaware, Maryland, Virginia. A lot of no time guys. It's a huge no time area. if you have
Index is huge down there as well.
It is. You're 100%. Somebody's brought up with us running because our small, as Pete was saying, our small tire guys are flying, like absolutely flying, the whole class. So for us to run a 550 index, I don't think I would lose one small tire guy.
No.
Because that's how fast the small tire guys are.
I also think that's contributed to the lower car counts because I think, the guys who are just casually running 580s, they're not coming now.
Or 530s. If they're running 530s, they don't want to go.
I mean, I think the same thing with big tires that, the reputation's out there of the kind of caliber of people that come and you have to step up, I mean, that's
I will tell you that when it came time for me to see who was still in and figuring out who I was pairing up, when I got the sheet, I got their times on the sheet, and good Lord, I couldn't believe.
Yeah, don't say what they are. Don't say what they were.
No. But I was amazed at how fast these guys are going. It's like, holy Christ. And there isn't a huge discrepancy between big tire and small tire.
No, there is not.
Like you would think there would be.
Nope.
It was really impressive.
Well, what people don't realize is when you say we have, let's say, come watch the fastest cars in the wing, in the Northeast running heads up, they don't understand. If somebody was to say, oh, my car goes 450, if somebody said that, the normal drag racer I don't think they comprehend how fast that is.
Nope.
Nobody understands what 160 miles an hour in the eighth is,
right.
What that feels like. People might say, oh, well, I have a car that goes, 10 O's in the quarter. Like it's, you can't even comprehend going 450.
Oh,
so I think that's that's like Chris was saying, maybe that's something else that we have to really put out there. Like Ralph and I have to really say, you don't understand how fast these cars are.
Well, the kind of our tagline in this last event is the fastest heads up racing in the Northeast. And honestly, I feel like, for where we are, nobody, at least an event like this has not happened at Lebanon in 50 years. Not door cars going as fast as like old dragsters.
No, since when they had the Northeast Pro Mods in the 1990s.
Yeah.
Right.
Really, that's the last time. Is 1990s they had the Northeast Pro Mods.
And you would need to find a history buff, but I'm willing to bet you
our small tire cars are faster than the Pro Mods were.
Yep. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, I mean, those guys were running 730s. Well, guess what? A 450 car in the eighth, if it's going 450, is going 680s out the back.
Right.
On a 275 with no bars.
Yeah.
And now add the Lebanon factor and the altitude and everything else.
Sure.
Where's Jerron tonight? We could talk about this. Man,
yeah.
I'm missing him today. No wonder he didn't show up.
He's probably walking around looking at his phone saying, screw you guys.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I wanted to ask Pete back because obviously, we really enjoyed Pete being there. He was a vital part of the team and somebody we know and trust really well. And that's all well and good. But what was your, observations and from the sights and sounds of the event?
I will tell you that I had a blast watching them on Friday night because they were boogieing. As happy as I was to work the event and make it better for you guys, my only regret with doing what I did was I didn't see shit for racing. It was, like I said, I got the time slips, or, not the time slips, but the sheets, and I could see what people were running. But man, I sure would have liked to have been on the starting line to see some of them go and just watch them, because listen, it's not my kind of racing, but it's impressive. And if you're not impressed by what you see, you're not a fan of drag racing, because it was definitely impressive.
No, when guys like Grant Nichols and old timers from the track tell me the same thing, like this
absolutely
is
right.
This is like hasn't happened here. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I mean, it's like Scottie, you hit the nail on the head. It reminds me of the days when me and my dad used to go up there with a cooler, and he would have a couple of cigars, and we had sandwiches packed and stuff, and we would watch the Pro Mod shows. That's what it reminded me of.
Yep.
Wow.
It had that same vibe.
Almost like when Shakedown used to be at it used to be in New Jersey at
Yeah, Englishtown. Yeah.
Englishtown.
Right.
Same type of stuff. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yeah.
It was
So
cool. It was, like I said, I was honored and very happy to be a part of it, because it's a good deal, and I think it's really good for the sport and the track.
Now, why can't, like, I know you were doing were you involved in like a small tire chip draw while big tire was going?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's how it goes.
Yeah. So once the ball started rolling, it's getting them all in there lined up. You guys know from watching racing, even Chris knows from being at divisionals, just because you call stock to the lanes doesn't mean all of stock is coming to the lanes. You know what I'm saying? So you call big tire and you got 20 cars and you might get 10 or 12 within the first 10 or 15 minutes. But then the last part of the field, so it's a half an hour. Then you get them all. They draw the chips. You write down who it is. Then you get to the front of lanes and say, okay, can I have my number ones? And no one moves. So you got to look on your piece of paper.
Well, everybody said Pete would just look, all right, you're a 1 and you're 1. Get up there now. Like right. You just took control.
I would have to look at my piece of paper and say, hey, car 85 and car number 145, you're number ones. Let's go. Okay, they get in and go. And then twos and so, and by the time they got up there, the 45 minutes to an hour went by, where as soon as the last pair was going up, I would radio to the tower, all right, give me small tire. And then the whole procedure would start all over again.
Oh, and so the radios were huge.
Huge.
It was
the first time we used them.
I just thought I was going to walk around with one on my hip and look like I was playing the part. But I actually, they were super, super handy. Even Mike Fitz, the announcer, would, radio to me, hey, how are you? I would radio to him. We're missing 2 cars in small tire. I would give him the number. He would announce it over the PA, boom, and they come. It was good. It was really good. The only thing is this year I want a headset, so I really look.
We're going to get somebody to help you, Pete, so you can actually walk up and watch some racing. Maybe we'll
I have a message to deliver to you guys from Jerron. He just says, hi, everyone.
Hey, Jerron.
Ralph, if you met Jerron, he's one of the only people that breaks my chops more than Pete does.
More than me?
Ooh, that's
more than Pete.
That's hard to do.
Oh, it's tough. He's tough.
All right, so we kind of got off the beaten path because you guys were praising me so much, and I love hearing it. But plans for next year? What do you got?
All right, so next year I'm submitting dates to Wayne to do the weekend before Memorial Day, which is the same one that we had last year in the spring, this past spring. And I found out you have Yellow Bullet, which is Labor Day weekend. September 11th, actually next year, is Lake George. So I'm shooting for the 3rd weekend in September.
I like it.
So I sent that to Wayne. I said that's what I would like. I don't care either the 2nd or either the 3rd or the 4th if I have to, but I'd rather go in the 3rd because it's a little bit warmer than that week later. And he can put Dover at that last week if he wants. But that's it. And then, I mean, we've approached Wayne about some other things that Ralph and I have been interested in. We can't really discuss it right now. It's something.
We have ideas for other products from the Ralph and Scottie Wheelz production company.
Some stuff you might have seen on TV that we're maybe going to try to bring to Lebanon Valley. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, we have different ideas, but every idea is getting fast cars together and making some serious
fast cars and making some money. I mean, for the guys, we want to, we pay all this money that we take in, we turn around, we invested in the track, into the signage, into the payouts for the racers. We do this because we love bringing this type of racing to Lebanon Valley. It's our home track.
Absolutely.
And that's why we want to have it. You know what I mean?
I want to see somebody bring pastime back. I enjoyed pastime. And I can tell by the look on both I can tell already by the look on the both of your faces that it's probably something along those lines.
Is that when you guess the time of the car?
Yeah, you have three
Yeah.
people, and they have the the big swag guy there was the announcer, and you have.
See, the problem is you wouldn't be able to do that at a no-time event.
Yeah, because it shows times.
You couldn't do that at a no-time event because it would show the times.
But if somebody was to do can I say it, Ralph?
What?
A backwards race at Lebanon Valley, like from the shutdown backwards, no prep. That would be different at Lebanon that nobody's ever seen before.
Just have them race in reverse.
Right, feet?
Start line to the.
We've never seen that at Lebanon Valley.
Down where it's dirty and gritty and all the sand, like when all the sand is.
Like true no prep.
And
No, but
Saturday night after the divisional or something, when all the dirt's flying in the air.
The only thing that would scare me about that is if, God forbid, something happened, you have no sand trap or net to go into.
And the way those Jersey barriers are angled, that shoots them right down.
Yeah, shoot them right down the staging lanes. You go into the creek. Yeah, but that's because we did have one person go into the sand and into the net.
We did.
Only racing 8th mile, they still went in. So what happens if, God forbid, that happens, going the other direction?
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
Details.
Yeah. I got a volleyball net I'll bring up. We'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
I was going to take the
archery
net out of the
back
back of my truck.
I wanted to get back to Chris's point with pastime. I just want to let you know that yours truly was a contestant on the show and a driver, in the lanes on the show as well.
I absolutely loved that show.
Yeah,
I couldn't
cool.
stand Rich Christensen, but I loved pastime.
I did a lot of work for Rich Chris. I did like websites for him. And I'm also Brian Bossone, who runs the All Out Lives and stuff that I've gone to as well. I don't know if you've heard about him. He's been doing it more as like a live thing on streaming online and then a MAV TV show, but he owns the rights to all those shows. And you might get your wish, because they brought back Monster Garage and some other things. And you might be surprised what might be brewing. I'll just leave it at that.
That would make my year. It really would. I absolutely, as some people may think it's incredibly lame, but I thought that was probably one of the coolest drag racing shows going at that time.
And everybody would go on there and downplay how fast their car was. And
well, the guy, all I can remember, and I want to say it was at Cecil. I could be wrong. I don't remember exactly what track it was. Showed up with this clapped out Mustang with like mini spares for the front tires and 100 and something foot wheel stand on like two kits, because it's just stock, 150,000 miles, for he said 100 or so feet. He's running 8-9 seconds.
Yeah, he went like 850 and they guessed like 11 or something.
Yeah, 11 or 12 seconds. They were all just kind of like kicking themselves. They only went through the traps. So
the only thing that we are pretty much know for sure is that there's a pretty good chance that there's going to be a 5th crown for 550, correct?
I'm not sure. Scott and I are, we kind of
we've been talking about it.
Yeah. I would like to see Heavy do a little bit better too on the next one too. I think the last thing we want to do is have a lot of shallow populated.
I don't want to have, Yeah, I've been to some other events that, they'll have maybe 5, 6, 7 cars in a class.
Right.
And that's not what we want.
Right.
We want 5, if we go 5, we want them to be deep,
I want 5 classes of 20 plus cars.
Right.
now it's going to be my next question for you guys. Have you guys talked amongst yourselves and said, all right, we're only going to have X amount of classes. We're not going to go, 27 classes into an event.
Yeah, I mean, we started with just big tire and small tire, and then we realized between those two, we needed to add something to keep the track warm, because these cars need 45 minutes to plug their batteries up, hook up their chargers. So we added 650. So we had those 3 classes, and it went really well. In the spring, we had, 100 cars. We had 32, 32, and 36 for the 3 classes.
And then then the grudge lane to re-aggregate the cars back to the lanes,
right,
to try to buy some love there. And also the racers enjoy that as well. So
cool.
So that's what we're shooting for. We're going to talk about the 550 thing.
You guys pretty much let the participants and the fans dictate what they want to see, and then you guys kind of take the ball and run with it if it's worthwhile or not.
100%.
If there's a big enough outcry for 550, then you figure it out.
Yes. Yes.
Like look at it this way though, Pete. That's a good point you made. It's like, okay, so if this race is growing and we're losing, some of the guys that know that they're going to be edged out too much in small or big, and they really have nowhere to go, then it's nice to know, like, look, we have a class to capture them and not lose them.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So, if it's an index, we do it. The goal is try to build those richer than big tire and small tire so that even when they're halfway through, big tire's a quarter way through, so that, we have something kind of siphoning through the lanes,
The good thing about you guys is that you're very accessible. So if someone wanted to reach out to you, if you had 15 people that reached out and said, guys, I would love a 550 because I can't hang in small tire or whatever. You guys being accessible makes that a lot more popular.
Yes. We listen. We debated with guys about what they wanted for the weight for heavy. Some people were 36, some people were 4,000. So you say, you know what, we'll split it down the middle. We'll go 3,800.
Yep.
Some of the guys that are 40. Go ahead, Chris.
Sorry. So Gerard put another message up. They do the reverse racing at Orlando Speed World in the wintertime. And he said what you said, Pete, what happens if, especially like Valley with having that curve.
It's funny
there.
because you think 8th mile, how fast could these cars go? But we had on your race, we had an issue where someone either lost their brakes or the throttle hung or something, all the way through the sand and into both nets.
Because he was still doing 160 in the 8th.
Right. And the person was fine and the car was in decent shape, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But I mean, God forbid that's going the other way. What do you do?
Either that or you just make it all small tires so that they're going to get all crazy down.
To give you an idea, Pete, I was talking to Manny Bojinga, who is real fast, in his small tire car that went 14s in the 8th.
Yeah.
And you can't take a drink because I said Manny's name, Chris. I saw that.
Too late.
But when he went to the backwoods race, his car was going 580s.
680s.
No, 580s.
There was one of them. It was like
5, but still, they were going like 120 something miles. They weren't that fast because it's a pure no prep.
Right. Not
like it's on a track, or you do a regular way and you do a no prep race, but you scrape the track and you do it the regular way. You know what I mean?
Right.
And still do it no time. So we have some ideas. Like Wayne, Wayne's pretty open, seeing our following. He's pretty open to allowing us to do. He doesn't shut us down when it comes to our ideas. So we're gonna see what we can grow. What
I mean, listen, other people have done it. It's been so. There's got to be a way to do it safely. You just got to explore how to do it. That's all.
Well, like it not being that safe is kind of part of the appeal. I'm telling you, we were at South Mountain. That track was like a walking path for like 10 months of the year.
Really?
Right, Ralph. It was
off and redo it.
It was 8th mile, right? 660 feet. Ralph, how long was that shutdown? It was 600 feet. That's it.
Are you counting the bank turn?
Right. So, Pete, by the quarter mile, think about this. By the quarter of a mile, you were turning off.
Totally, like 1,000 feet, like nothing to done.
The Punisher was there. The Punisher car was there, Pete, going 160 in the 8th, pulling the chutes at 500 feet, trying to stop by the quarter to turn.
They need like that track out in Ohio that's got the gigantic.
It goes up and around.
Ski jump at the end there.
Yep, exactly. So we're just Ralph. I know I'm proud to be partners with Ralph. He's done a fantastic job. Bringing you on board, Pete, to help us at the events is just growing it. We're just pumped up for next year.
Yeah, I got to tell you, ditto. I don't know what you guys are planning or what you're doing, but I'm excited to see it because I know it'll be good.
I told Pete, I said right after the event, I go, don't talk to me about your next year plans until I go, wait, talk to me before you make any plans next year. I have 2 dates for you.
If we hit late September and May, we're good.
Yeah, when I go divisional racing and stuff is when I'm out of school. So anytime between June 15th and August 25th, it's hit or miss. But you go before that window or after that window, I'm still too new at the school to take time off. So when I could bring the RV to school and then as soon as the bell rings, head up to Lebanon Valley on a Friday afternoon, I'm all yours.
Well, you'll be bringing a good story to your students too.
Yeah, there you go.
I was gonna come, but I have a hard time with getting around stuff. So, and I didn't have a travel buddy to go with me because my wife and my son both had to work. So
That's all right, Chris. We'll save you a parking spot next time.
That's
Oh
right.
yeah, trust me. You'd be more than welcome. We have the vodka party. There's a lot of opportunities to meet the guys, and that's the atmosphere there is just, I can't explain it. It's very, very gentlemanly. Like there's not a, it's a good race. From a lot of standpoints. You know what I mean? It just it's good energy.
Without a doubt.
In this
Cool.
drag racing.
Well, gentlemen,
Well,
thank you very
sure.
much for coming on, telling your story, updating us.
Thanks, buddy.
If you have any other big news, any announcements that you want to make, I realize that Chris and I aren't quite as accessible as you guys because we're big TV stars. But reach out to us. We would love to have you on the show and we'd love to have you spill the beans. So whatever we could do to promote what you guys do, we're more than happy to.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, thank you for your support. It's really it's humbling. We appreciate
It
it.
is. Thank you so much.
You
You
guys
guys
have
are
earned
very
it.
welcome anytime.
Enjoy it.
Pete, we'll
And,
see you Wednesday night.
I can't wait to have my first drink Wednesday night that Scott's buying me.
That's
I'm
right.
not buying it. No time, no rules is buying it.
No, we're gonna give Scott. You can have credit this time. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
All right,
guys.
guys, have a good night.
Take care.
Take
All
care.
right, talk to y'all soon. All right, very cool. Scott
It
McDonald.
was, I gotta tell you, it was a lot of fun being part of the race.
I really, I did truly want to go, like I said, just with my stuff and hard to get around. And even though I've got one of those little scooter things now, it's just,
Well,
that's a long drive for me too. So
the
it's
good
nice to
thing
have a
about that
travel buddy.
race for you is 99% of it is on pavement. So at least, you could park on the pavement. You could park right next to wherever I park.
Yeah.
You could unload, you could drive around. You don't have to deal with, grass and moguls and all that stuff. So
Yeah,
food for thought for next year.
absolutely. Yeah, like I said, now that I've got that little electric scooter thing, it definitely makes life a lot easier than
Yeah, no doubt.
the divisional event where I did 17 miles of
Yeah,
rolling
right.
along.
All right, let's do some race results so I could get in bed.
All right, so let's start it off with Nessa. We've got the last race of the year. We've got the championship for Nessa,
Okay.
and then we'll move on to there's actually 2.25 divisionals. There was makeup stuff from New England, and then there was double up this weekend at Virginia, and then obviously the national event. So go ahead, Pete.
Yes, sir. So the Northeast Super Street Association, contested at Lebanon Valley, ran their final race. And anyone who's watched any racing at all this year would know how big of a factor weather was. Believe it or not, they got in all 8 races without one single rain date. It just so happened that every day that they planned to race, the sun was shining. And talking to Lori Butler last week, she believes that that's the first year it ever happened. So congrats on their luck for pulling that off. Great series. And Saturday was their last race. Mike Falcone was the winner. Gary Federico, a good friend of the show, he was runner-up. And Pete Diamond took the #1 qualifier money. After the day was over, they were able to crown Sean Nichols as the champion, which, from talking with Scottie and Ralph, that would be the son of the Grant family. He had a killer year in Super Street. Number two, Mike took his win on Saturday to lock in his number two finish in the points championship. And capping off the top three was Ray Butler.
Very cool.
Anyone that frequents up there, you know all those names. Even if you don't frequent up there, you probably know their names. So great year for the Northeast Super Street Association. Congratulations to the race winners, number one qualifiers, and champion.
Very cool. Now, with any of the Racers News Network money carried over into the year-end championship, Pete?
I'm gonna say yes. So I know that when I raced the 2-day, which was race number 6 and 7, I believe race number 6, someone won the money. So if my head is correct, and I didn't get an announcement that anyone got it for this race, I want to say 2 races are going to roll over into the championship fund.
Very cool. Obviously, Lori, if you're listening, I'll talk to Pete, but I would like to return to doing that again next year as well. I think it was an awesome thing to do for an awesome series.
And I'm also going to continue with the number one qualifier in hopes that someday I could actually win my own money.
There you go.
That's my goal.
There you go.
I set the bar really high.
It's always fun to win your
Yeah,
own.
you got to win your own money, right? I got to do it at least once.
There was a guy that sponsored a street stock race, circle track race over this weekend. He won both of his races. He won back his $5,000 for his company on Saturday, and then he won his other $5,000 back on Sunday. So he had a banner weekend.
All I'm trying to do is win $50. I'm not asking for anything crazy here.
Get gas for the motorhome.
Yeah, exactly, for the generator or something.
There you go. Yeah. All right. So like I said, there were 2 divisional races this weekend at Virginia Motorsports Park. I honestly don't remember what the makeup one was for.
Atco.
Okay. Thank you very much. But we're going to start off with Top Dragster presented by Tommy Tape. Tommy Tape Top Dragster presented by Select Performance. Again, the Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series Northeast Division at Virginia Motorsports Park. Our buddy Fast Freddie Perkins took home the win in Top Dragster in race number 1. 036 on the tree, 610 with an 8. That thing loves 610s. His dragster absolutely loves that ET area. At 216 over Dave Petrovsky, 33 on the tree, 652 with a 6 at 203. This is Freddie's 4th Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series Wally overall. Now, you talk a lot about the high-speed bracket stuff, Pete. 18-inch margin of victory at over 200 miles an hour, at 216 and 203, respectively.
Look, I could honestly say I don't think I could see 18 inches at 145. How they do it at 200 plus is like mind-boggling.
Absolutely. All right, Tommy Tape Top Sportsman presented by Select Performance. Michael Daniel with a perfect 000 light, 680 with a 7 at 202 over Al Davidowski, 30 on the tree, 677 at 204. With Danielle with a perfect light, dead on with a 7, and takes home his 5th Wally. Super Street.
Pay attention because you're going to hear this name more than once on this broadcast. Ed Pauly defeated Chris Webb. Ed took a 002 and a 1093 with a 1 to defeat Chris's 033 light and running a 1086 with a 6. Ed got his 2nd divisional Wally. Super Gas, I assume?
Super Gas.
2 names that, again, if you follow divisionals at all, You will recognize these names. Bob Phillips takes a 001 989 with a 7 to defeat Steve Furs 023 988 with an 8. And rounding out the .90s for race 1, Corey Manuel defeated Kathy Smulligan. It took a 19 light and a dead on with a 9 to beat her 39 light, and she went an 887 with a 9. And that is Corey's 3rd divisional win.
All right, stock eliminator. Cody Phillips over Shane Oaks. Cody, 67 on the tree, 1036 with a 4 at 107. Shane went red, 001 in the negative for Shane Oaks. 1137 with a 4 at 95 miles an hour. Oaks obviously just a tiny bit too quick on the tree, took the red light to give Phillips a win. Phillips takes his 3rd Wally. Super stock, Joe Lisa over Kevin Clark. Lisa with an 18 light, 1005 with an 8 at 128. And excuse me for this 1 second. Kevin Clark 004 on the tree, 653 with a 4 at 121. Clark had the better light, obviously. Lisa runs dead on with the 8 for the win. 4 inches margin of victory. Still at 120 some odd miles an hour. Joe wins his 3rd Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series Wally. Competition eliminator, again at Virginia. Jim Kimbrough over Randy Daniels. Jim 001 on the tree, 721 at 183 miles an hour. Randy Daniels 72 on the tree, 832 with an 8 at 160. Let's see, Jim Kimbrough takes home his 7th Wally. Now, rain delay stuff from Epping. Tommy Tate, Top Sportsman, presented by Select Performance. Jeff Brooks over Frank Volpe. Jeff 039 on the tree, 639 with a 5 at 217 to Frank's 41 on the tree at 697 with a 4, 194 miles an hour. Now, if I believe that was the race also that Frank had some problems with the car.
That's correct. I don't know the whole story. I haven't talked to him. I know he was highly thankful for the guys at TSR for helping him out. So I can only assume that he had transmission issues. I know there were some pictures floating around on Facebook with the nose off the car, and it's a bummer. I mean, when you have a really strong outing and you make it to the final, and then the final gets postponed out of however long it was, a month and a half, 2 months. And you go there and you want to bring your A game, and stuff happens that's totally out of your control. But they are a very resilient team over there, so they'll bounce back. And it was still one hell of an effort. So great job, guys.
Absolutely, and absolutely beautifully turned out Ford Mustang too.
Yeah, car is ridiculous.
It is.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous.
All right, Super Comp again from the Epping rain delay. It was Brian Bell over Howie Smith. Brian 16 on the tree, 891 with a 0 at 161. Howie 134 on the tree, 878 with an 8 at 185 for the loss. And stock eliminator once again from Epping, the rain out. It was Todd Bednaz over Tim Stickles. Tim Stickles actually won at ZMAX last week. So congratulations, Tim, on that again on that win, but also the runner-up this week for the makeup race, excuse me. Todd 122 on the tree, 1063 with a 6 at 124. Tim 83 on the tree, 1209 at 95 miles an hour for the loss. And I believe, I don't have it unfortunately, but I believe that was Todd's first Wally as well.
Very
I
nice.
could be wrong, but all right. Race number 2 again at Virginia Motorsports Park, the actual scheduled event for Virginia Motorsports Park.
That's correct.
All right, starting off with top alcohol dragster, Rich McPhillips took out Jackie Frick. And also on a high note, talking about Jackie, by getting through round number 2 this past weekend, they secured the championship in Division 1 in top alcohol dragster. So congratulations to Jackie Frick and the Fink Racing team. Bravissimo. Didn't think I could do it, did you?
Yeah, I know I can.
All right, top alcohol funny car. Sean Bellemure from California takes out Brian Golick. Now, on a good note, Brian has been on a tear. It's his own team. He owns the car, does a lot of the wrenching on it as well. Obviously, he has teammates. He's come a long ways in a short amount of time with his own rig. But going up against Bellemure, it's definitely a toughie. So again, Sean Bellemure over Brian Golick in top alcohol funny car. Comp eliminator, Randy Daniels over Matt Alvey. Super stock, Herbie Null over Kent Hanley. Stock eliminator, Wallace Dent over Katie Sapanik. Super comp, Kenneth Myers over Mike Robolato. Super gas, David Morris over Jim Perry. Let me actually back up. Super comp, Ken Myers, 891 with a 2. He was 18 on the tree, 165 miles an hour. David Morris, again in super gas, 20 on the tree, 990 with a 6 at 171 to take out Jim Perry, who was 990 with a 4 at 164. Super Street. We had a double up this weekend. Of course, talking about Ed Pauly on the 68 Camaro. Took out Dave Bergfeld. Pauly, 20 on the tree, 1090 with a 2 at 134 to beat Dave's 16 on the tree, 1092 with a 0 at 139 miles an hour. But like Pete mentioned earlier, imagine that doubling up on the same weekend.
Yeah, I mean, like I've seen people, it might have even been Gary Federico. I want to say Lebanon Valley Divisional. They had to run the final round at Englishtown when Englishtown had the last divisional of the year. And I believe he won the final round from Lebanon Valley and the race at Englishtown and went home with 2 Wallies on the same weekend. But that's not running 2 full-blown races and going, 5 rounds per race plus a couple of time trials. I mean, that's, you got to figure it's probably 7 passes per race, 14, 15 passes and your light comes on every time. That's one hell of an accomplishment, without a doubt.
Absolutely. All right, moving on to top dragster, Erica Molnar, 14 on the tree, 708 with an 8 at 185 to take out Alexis Whitaker. 39 on the tree, 733 with a 5 at 180. Top sportsman, Division 1 Hot Shoe, who's been on fire, who actually messaged me earlier, said, please put my name up. So I did. Talking about, of course, Robert Fortuna in his Chevy S10, 12 on the tree, 788 with a 7 at 169. Took out Nick Maloney, again, another name that we've been saying a lot this year in top sportsman and occasionally top dragster. Was 26 on the tree, 708 with a 2 at 194 for the runner-up. Junior dragsters, Robert Fortuna. I don't know if he's a junior or the second. We'll just say Little Robert.
Yeah.
We'll go with Little Robert.
Yeah.
Junior dragster, 13 to 18. Did a 12 on the tree, which for junior dragsters is pretty damn good.
Yeah, I'd say.
793 with a 1 at 79 miles an hour over LeVar Lewis Jr., who was 72 on the tree, 788 with a 2 at 82 miles an hour. Junior dragster, age 10 to 12, Zach Gale, 139 on the tree, 899 with a 5 at 72 miles an hour over Caden Payon, 29 on the tree. I'm hoping that's a negative. It could be a blotch of ink too, but I'm going to say it's a negative. 20. I'm going to say 29 red, 902 with a 5, 72 miles an hour for the runner-up position. Junior dragster, 6 to 9, Hannah Shepard, 149 on the tree at 1201 with a 6 at 54 miles an hour, and Cole Payon, 43 on the tree, 1221 with a 7 at 51 miles an hour. So congratulations, everybody that ran the double and got stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
People were posting, I don't know if you saw those or not, people were posting pictures of the traffic.
Frank Volpe was actually one of the people who posted it.
It added about 2 or 3 hours to his drive home, he said. Took him 10 hours.
I will tell you that if I ever decided I was going to go to a race like that, taking Monday off would be mandatory.
Yeah, not an option. Absolutely.
And I would probably stay put right at the track, hopefully with a Wally in the motorhome. And as soon as, yeah, exactly. And as soon as rush hour is over in the morning, I would head out because
and you got to go through DC. You're going to add hours to your commute if you try to go around DC.
It's like unavoidable.
Yep. So, all right. 10th annual NHRA Midwest Nationals at Worldwide Technology Raceway, race 16 of 20. Run through this. Steve Torrance, no surprise, in Top Fuel over Mike Salinas. Funny car, Matt Hagan defeated our kind of hometown boy, Bob Tasca III. Pro Stock race win number 3 for Erica Enders in the, as she always does, drive that bitch back.
Right. Race win number 3, as in 3 years in a row at this track.
Oh, okay.
It's the 3rd time she won in St. Louis in 3 consecutive years.
Got it. All right. When they put it up, all they said was 3rd win. So
yeah, right. Yep.
She defeated Dallas Glenn. So
they had a little baby staging duel. I don't know if you watched it or not.
I caught bits and pieces.
They both went in, and it was just long enough for the announcer to say, "Oh, look, it looks like they're going to have a staging duel." And then they went in,
and they rolled it in.
And Dallas, you can't really call it tattooed her because they were both great lights, but he was 001 to her 10. Yeah, I mean, it was ridiculous. I believe the margin of victory was 2,000. It's like
let's see, she ran 657 with a 2, and he ran 658 with a 3.
That's 2,000 in my book.
Yep.
When you factor in the reaction times, yeah.
Yep.
Take 9 away for reaction, and that's 2,000.
There you go.
Crazy, right?
Absolutely.
Again, you've got these max effort machines that, I mean, granted, they have, cubic inch rule and an RPM rule and stuff like that, but you take these cars that are just heads up, flat out, manually shifting, leaving the line with a clutch, and you have a 0.002 of a second finish at the end for a final round, and it's pretty impressive.
It's sick, as the cool kids say.
Exactly.
All right, comp eliminator Joseph Aerosmith in his Pontiac GTO 784 with a 4 at 173 defeated Brett Spear in the 23T Ford, who lit the cherry, as Pete likes to say. Aerosmith wins his first national event Wally in his first final round. So congratulations to Joe Aerosmith on that accomplishment. Super stock Robert Cruzen and Chevy Cobalt 923 with a 9 at 135 defeated Ricky Decker Chevy Camaro 973 with a 7 at 133. Cruising with the starting line advantage, the win, and takes home his second national event Wally, excuse me. Stock eliminator, Ryan Montford, 988 with a 9 at 109, defeated Wes Neely and his Firebird, who again lit the cherry. Montfort wins his third national event Wally. Super Comp, Nick Eisenhower, 13 on the tree. Did I send you those?
Yes, you did. You're
Go
stepping
ahead.
on my toes over here, pal.
Sorry.
Relax, will you? Super Comp, Nick Eisenhower defeats Vernon Rowland. Yeah. This is basically a coin flip off the start, but Eisenhower takes a 6,000th margin of victory to earn his second career win. Super Gas, Jeremy Mason defeats Jason McClure. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but I like the way it sounds. McClure. Very cool. Jeremy went 22 on the tree and ran a 991 with a 7 to defeat Jason's 29 light and 988 with a 3. And Super Street was not contested at this event.
Correct.
I only have 2 to announce, and you're trying to take them away from me. Really, Chris?
I'm sorry. All right, Top Sportsman presented by Vortex Superchargers. Larry Demers, 689 with an 8 at 197 miles an hour, defeated Kurt Frederick, 658 with a 7 at 212 miles an hour. Let's see. Demers gets his 4th career win. Factory Stock Showdown and 2020 Factory Stock Champion Aaron Stanfield and his Chevy Camaro, 780 with a 5. And from what I was seeing all weekend, it sounded like the factory stock cars were absolutely just on point as far as ETs. They were starting to dive down a little bit deeper.
Yep.
780 with a 5 at 176 miles an hour to defeat Leonard Lottig, Lottig. In another Chevy Camaro, 875 with a 5 at 139 miles an hour. Lottig first final round, Stanfield in his 10th and his 4th this year. As soon as Lottig hit the gas, he smoked the tires, had to pedal, and that was all Stanfield needed. Stanfield goes down the track to take his 7th career win and his 2nd this year. Oh, and I do have one more, I do apologize, from Makeup Race. Nope, sorry, I already got those. Disregard. I
You
messed
thought
up.
you were wrong, but you were mistaken.
Happens all the time. So that's that. We are working on, I've already been contacted by a couple of tracks and a couple of series. We're going to start working on some year-end stuff because unfortunately in our neck of the woods, the sidewalks are slowly starting to be wound up.
Yeah, I hate like hell talking about year end, but we're getting there.
We are. But we will be back next Monday night. I know Jerron is working on a couple of things, but I know one of those people is in Bristol.
Are we doing Monday or are we taking Monday off?
I will be back next Monday with results from anything that's going on next week, and
Okay.
might try and line up some winter interviews. Very quickly, let's hit on that. What we're going to do is, with Pete being very busy with running a business and also being a teacher, and Jerron with flying all over God's green earth, racing and doing his business with the paint, they're going to start coming every other week. So next week is just going to be me. I'm going to work on some winter interview stuff. And then 2 weeks from tonight, Jerron and Pete will be returning. Again,
Yeah, we're just gonna try an every other week thing, just to try not to dilute it down too much.
Yep.
just to make you guys miss us just enough to want to come back every other week.
But I will be still coming in when there's results again and doing winner interviews and things of that nature. So we will be here. Like I said, Jerron and Pete will be every other week. So in 2 weeks from today, you will see the boys back unless something absolutely astonishing happens over the next week. So
I get fired or
requires their
something.
professional opinions.
Yeah. All right, Chris. As
All right.
always, it's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. We are out of here. Like I said, I will be back next Monday night with any results and interviews. And the boys will be back in 2 weeks. Have a great night. If you're racing this coming weekend, best of luck. And if you got to commute, drive safely because
Stay safe.
nobody else is going to drive safe. So you may as well do it.
That's right. Good
All right,
night,
guy. Scottie Wheelz, Ralph Miola, thank you very much. New England, no time, no prep, no
Yep.
rules,
Yeah, no rules. No time, no rules.
no time, no rules,
That's it.
no clue.
See, if they gave me one of those banners, I'd have it hanging up. I would know.
There you go. Yeah. Well, what the hell was that again?
That's
Yeah.
Have a good night, bud.
All right. Have a good night, Pete. Talk to you soon.
I'll see you.
Have a great night, everybody. We'll talk to you next week.